Hello, everybody, and welcome to round one of the online British Championships, the main event. I will share my screen. We've got some good pairings tonight, headed up by Amir Abbas against Grandmaster Michael Adams. We're going to start off by following that one. Brandon Clark against Edition Zhu. We've got Keith Arkle, Grandmaster Mark Hebden, Bogdan Lalic, Ichin Han. I'm reading out the title players here first. We're going to pop in on all these games. Okay, let's go. I think they've already started, haven't they? So let's go straight to it. If I can do that. Here we go. Yes, here we are. Amir Abbas against Mickey Adams.
Oh, good Lord. Mickey playing a fianchetto. I don't think I've seen Mickey do that before.
Wow, he's doing it.
It is against the London system, but all the same. Mickey putting his bishop on G7. That never happens.
There it is.
Wow.
There it is.
So, okay, just London system. Yeah, King's Indian against it. We'll see what Mickey does, whether he goes D6 or D5. But this is quite surprising. I mean, normally, in actual fact, after bishop f4, G6, they're tending to play knight C3, actually, which is, you know, sort of a bit more challenging. And then if D5, then you can play E3 or go knight F3 and get back into the Barry. But E3 is the more traditional way of playing it. But Amir Abbas thinking now. So, I mean, normal move would be knight F3. Yeah, knight F3, basically.
So why has Mickey varied? Has he got a... Do you think it's a whole new opening repertoire, or do you think it's particularly for this game against the London system against Amir Abbas?
I don't know, really. I would have thought, yeah, I wouldn't have thought that you'd really, you know, that you'd really prepare something completely different against, you know, against the London system like that. I think maybe Mickey's been working at some fianchetto systems against 1d4.
It's always good to have some fianchetto systems up your sleeve.
Indeed.
He could, I guess he can do it with D6 and go for E5, or he could try D5 stuff from here.
Yeah, I mean, I would sort of expect, if you're going to bother to play G6 bishop G7, I'd expect some C5 D6 stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
But because I mean, playing C5 quite early, it's quite common. Oh, just D6, okay.
There you go. That was my prediction.
Indeed, you should be predicting on the board, Natasha.
I should predict on the board because then I can actually prove it. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, basically, what I'd expect from Mickey. So, I mean, maybe Mickey will play B6 and bishop B7, knight BD7. I've often done that against the London system.
Yeah.
Which is quite a pleasant system for black. And basically, it's a Reti reversed. You know, I mean,
yeah. Yeah. Hello, Treddy 007. Okay, let's skip through a few of these. So Brandon Clark.
Oh, this is good.
Oh my goodness! Look at that king. It's right out on F3 already.
I get the feeling we've got a win of a piece here coming up.
Let's see it. Okay, so it's a Sicilian.
This is the Sicilian bomb cloud variation.
Is it?
Well, no, but it's I think somebody called it that. So this is I had this against Alan Merry at Bury St Edmunds. I do find these positions quite nice for white, but theoretically they're doing fine for black. You know, it's so you go King E2, and then you go King F3, and then you go F5. Okay, knight E7 is a bad move. You've got to go F5 in this position.
Okay.
And then after EF6, you go knight takes F6. Knight D6 check takes, queen takes, and C5. And there's all sorts of theory on this, you know. But F5 is the move you have to play here. Otherwise, you get completely squashed with black, which I'm afraid has happened here.
Okay, so this bishop can go into d4, but then you go c5, and that's
Yeah,
the end of the bishop.
and that's the end of the bishop. Well, yeah, almost the end of 2 bishops, really, because after c5, yeah.
And you've got a knight d6 coming in if you want it.
Yeah, it's a total disaster, this one, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's really important. I mean, it's one of those lines where, you know, your pieces are very exposed. You've got to play it precisely, or it all goes horribly wrong. So yeah, f5 was the move that you really needed to play there. But
all right,
it's going to be a quickie for Brendan today.
Let's see. Mark Heaven. We like seeing playing.
Look at Mark playing a fianchetto as well.
He is.
I have not seen this very often. My goodness.
He plays King's Indian, doesn't he?
Yeah, but not with white.
Yeah, but
he never fianchettos. No, but I mean it's a completely different thing here. So c4 as well. No c3. This is really this is very strange from Hebs. I wouldn't have expected at all. So this is an interesting line that he plays. I had a look at this actually. It was just yeah. I think it's a very good Hebs line. Just going for a small nibble. So you take on c5 before playing knight c3, and that gives you the opportunity to play knight e5. And then he's going back with knight d3. So not very much at all, but you know you'll get you're threatening a little bishop f4, and you might have a knight c3 to d5 or b5 with tempo. So or knight bd7, that's a bit passive. We'll just go knight c3, I think, and knight c3 or bishop f4. Probably knight c3 first. It should be very pleasant for white.
Excellent. Well, it's lovely to see Hebs play. I haven't seen him play for a little while, so it's really nice. So good luck, Mark. I don't want to take sides, but it is nice to see him play for a while. Okay, Bogdan.
Wowsies! Somebody's decided to go for Bogdan here.
Scotch.
Castles. Now a3, interesting move. Yeah, Bogdan got into trouble against Brendan in the blitz with his e5 repertory here. So, and this is looking a little bit. I mean, don't we have e5 somewhere here?
E5 is the move I was looking at. Yeah. So e5. Do we want a board? We can have a look at e5. So e5, what do you do? d5 normally for those kind of things.
Yeah,
but our king's not very safe.
No, it's a bit risky in this position, but yeah, I mean, if you go knight e4, I've got queen d5, and if you go knight g4, I've got queen d5 as well, which is, you know, very unpleasant because I'm hitting c5 and an f7. You know, I mean, that's really. I mean, two things occur to me. I mean, you could try c2. Would that be an idea somewhere, just to try and just distract the queen? I'm not sure. I don't know where. It just occurs to me because after queen c2, knight g4, you haven't got queen d5 anymore. But you've got f7 check, for example, and there might be more queen f5 maybe. No, queen f5. I've got d5. That's right. That was the point. But I've got bishop f7 checks. I mean, I don't think that would be very good. So probably you should go d5. I mean, that is probably true. But okay, let's. We're going to take on f6. I think that's probably the d takes c4, f takes g7, rook g8.
Ooh.
Well, it's not so bad. I'm actually wondering. I've seen something very similar to this recently. Something of Dubov's actually, but yeah. Then we have to work out what we're going to do. I mean, we can do several things. I mean, even queen d8 is not so stupid in actual fact because you know that we'll play back on c3 with a knight, whatever you take with. I don't know. With a king, okay, I'll take with a knight. I mean, I'm going to have decent counterplay, you know, decent play here because I go bishop f4, rook d1 check. You know, I mean it can't be too bad for white. But okay, let's try and play a bit more ambitiously. And go queen e2 check, I suppose.
Okay.
And then
What about
bishop
defend?
d6, and I'll probably go rook d1. Otherwise, you might well go queen d3. So I guess you go queen f6.
Yeah.
Possibly. Then I'll go knight takes c3. You're not sure because you can't castle. That's your big problem. And you can go queen.
What if we come?
Yeah, rook takes g7. I've got knight e4, which I'm wondering about. Or even knight d5 actually might be stronger, followed by knight takes c7. So I think you should probably play queen takes g7, to be honest, just to be to get out of the way of that.
Oh yeah, and it does have a threat, doesn't it? It has a big threat.
But I mean, if I go g3, for example, I can think bishop g5 even is maybe possible. But okay, let's just go g3. And I'm just if you go rook d8, for example, I go bishop f4. And I'm just I don't know. I mean, I've got decent play here, I think. Surely. Maybe. Or maybe bishop e3 is better. Maybe bishop e3 is better. So I'm thinking queen g4 in this position is might be annoying. But if I go bishop rook d8, bishop e3, just well, we've got to go bishop g5 as well. That's another idea. So yeah, okay. That's but I'm guessing that
Let's see what white did.
Yeah, he went b4. Okay, bishop b6. Well, could still go e5 now.
Yeah.
I don't know whether this improves it a lot or not. I mean, the thing about e5 is we're no longer. We could go knight g4, sort of, because we're not actually hitting the bishop on c5 anymore. But again, knight g4, not clear. I mean, we can go bishop g5, for example. We could go e5, knight g4, bishop g5. I mean, there is bishop f7 followed by knight g5 check as well. I don't know whether that's how dangerous that is. Not 100% clear, but possible. And these e5, d5 lines, are they better with a bishop on b6? Not 100% clear to me, but might be. I mean, we could also, we could also just play normally and play knight takes c3 and then bishop g5 afterwards, which is also not stupid because the the bishop's far away. We could get pinned there.
Okay. So let's look at Peshka the Great against Whimsical Jam.
What have we got here? QGD, bishop e7. Then a rather strange move from Whimsical Jam, a6. I mean, there's all sorts of moves here. b6 is the Tartakova. Knight bd7 is the classical. Knight e4 is the Lasker. A6 is in principle not illogical, but it is a slightly strange move. I guess you're threatening. You want to go d takes c4, bishop c4, and b5.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit early. I mean, white can react in two ways into these things. C5 is one idea, simply to because you can only really play e5 when you've played c6. You need to have the d5 pawn covered. So after c5, you've got to go c6, and you've wasted the tempo on a6. Put it that way, that's possible. And what Peshka the Great did as well was not bad. C takes d5, followed by because this move a6 is not necessarily a good one in this exchange QGD. I mean, it might turn out useful if you go b4, but maybe you don't go b4 anymore, and then it's just a wasted tempo. So. Or half-wasted tempo. It might be useful, but it you maybe could have played other moves first. It's that sort of thing. So
because you might need to play c6 anyway, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. If you play a6 and c6, then you might wonder, why did I play a6 so early? And that might cost you just a little developing move or something, you know. But Queen C2 is a good move. It's nice and flexible, and yeah, just waiting to see what Black does. Is Black going to try and play C5, or is Black going to go Knight BD7? And depending, you know, you could even just decide to go Castle Queenside. You know, I mean, that's also possible.
Okay, and so White went Queen C2, and Theo is having a think at this point. All right, let's look at Tashika Aurora against Jonathan Blackburn.
Ooh.
Another fianchetto. Everybody's fianchettoing today.
All right, so yeah, slightly strange maybe to to allow White to go B4 like that. Normally you just go A5 to stop it, you know, which looks quite reasonable. But I guess that Black was didn't want to get White to play G4 and prevent Knight H5. So, but Knight E2 was a little bit strange in a way. A5. Yeah, and then B5. Yeah, this is a very committal line. Now it's funny about this because in a well, it's a rather different one. It's a classical King's Indian, but Magnus Carlsen actually met I think it was Adiban's A5 with B5, which is supposed to be a total positional error, horrific. But found some interesting ideas in it. Apparently, it's like the third or the fourth engine choice, but the engine can make it work somehow. So you've got to have a bit of respect for it. Although when Magnus played it, he was, what was it? I think it was, I saw he was something like 11 or 1,200 ELO points higher than the previous person who played that, you know. So just goes to show how unusual this idea is. You know, the problem with B5 is that essentially the queen side is kind of blocked, you know, that Black can blockade with a knight on C5, and you're never going to achieve anything there. So everything moves to the king side. And then the question is whether who's the strongest on the king side.
Yeah. Well, on the king side, Black could get F5 in.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, something like knight C5 looks quite decent here. If G4, you'll probably go knight F4 and just sacrifice the pawn that way. And otherwise you'll just try and play F5. So the white pieces aren't very well placed here, really. So yeah, it's looking quite good for Black here. Castle's also very reasonable.
All right, let's see. Harry Grieve against Schlockvarna. Oh,
yeah, Harry
Greaves again doing eighth. Was it Harry that did it before?
Yeah, A3 D5. We've seen this quite a few times already.
Turning it into the birds.
What I'm intrigued is, will he do this against Mickey Adams? That's what I want to see. But
the A3 doesn't look that useful to me now.
No, it's kind of not useful.
I know in this position you do have to waste a move in this birds, don't you, sometimes, but nonetheless.
Takes. But okay, White's got the two bishops. Ooh, E5. Yeah. That's a bit committal. That's very committal. Yeah, okay. I mean, White plays knight D2 here, and White's just nicely better, I suppose. Just two bishops. You'll bring a king to. I guess you'll bring a king to E2, play A4, and then at some stage maybe play F5, H3. You know, play G4, G5, and very hard for Black to actually get something done now, especially after E5. It's pretty, yeah, pretty static. Concedes the light squares really. So I think White's in very good shape here.
Okay. Let's see, a drunken knight. Oh, excuse me. Oh dear. Excuse me.
Okay, so this winner Gambit played. Yeah, d takes c5, d4 is actually quite decent for black. So e3, e4. But now we sort of just got a French really. But black's playing black's playing the black side, of course, and the white side rather. And white's taken very early on d5, so black can still get the knight out to c6. So in principle, this is pretty nice. Bishop b6, not sure. Well, okay, maybe. Why not? I'm not sure how to play bishop b6, but it's a pretty decent move. It's pretty solid what black's doing here. So equal position in principle, and black can't be dissatisfied, but white's doing all right as well. So
we do have a result already. It's maybe not surprising because we saw this game earlier, and Brandon was winning a piece there in that Sicilian defense. So he has gone on to win that game. So that's
okay, right, yeah.
First result, I think, of the British Championships.
Wow.
All right, and back on move 9 is Lawrence Spencer against Checkmate a Lot.
Okay, so b3, rook e8, g3. Okay, so and dc. So this is quite interesting. Whoa, castles.
Oh, can't we take on d3?
We certainly can.
Isn't black just 2 pawns up, or am I being simplistic?
Well, I mean, the e5 pawn goes, but in principle, it's just really good for black, of course. D takes c4. How strange! But how quick? No, castles was played after some thought. I mean, there were some worries about the move. What you would play, because white's played a little bit exotically with b3 and then e3, d3, and g3. So after d takes c4, if white had taken back on c4 with a pawn, with a b pawn, maybe we've got bishop f5 or something like that. There was some worry about it, but this is really excessive. Yeah. So c takes d3 is a pawn basically.
Yeah, because they can take back on e5. But that only gets one of the pawns back.
Yeah, I mean, we take and then think of something to do. Bishop g4 maybe is quite decent. Yeah, I mean, whatever happens, it's going to be tricky for white to get the pawn back. Which just can't be the idea, of course. I mean, black's already a lot better.
It's funny because Peter's thought for quite a while. Yeah, I guess it's just a blunder. All right, or we might see later that it's a sacrifice. But okay, so let's look at McCarthy Stone, which is Jonathan Payne against. Let me just check who he's against. Yonggi Wang.
Okay, so this was some sort of Schlechter Slav, I think.
Let me see.
Or vaguely transposed to it. Oh, a b3. Okay, yeah. So d4, yeah. Bishop d3, c4, c6. So, yeah. Whoa, e5, very sharp.
Yeah. Is off a pawn.
Well, you're always getting it back because you won't be able to hold it. But
yeah.
Interesting. Just black played, quite solid moves, knight bd7, c6, and then afterwards, bam, e5. That's just quite okay. Knight c3, knight e5.
Because black's now going to be left with this kind of isolated pawn.
Yeah, in principle, considering white's played one knight f3, two b3, you're not going to be unhappy with this because you've got a weakness out of the opening. It's not crucial or anything, but it's a little bit. So knight g takes e5, okay. Knight b6, bishop e6. So covering the pawn that way. and rook d1. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, probably not yet. But at some stage, you might be threatening knight takes d5 and then taking the knight on e5 afterwards, because yeah, you might.
Because if knight f3, then bishop takes, defends this.
Yeah, I mean, for example, you take on b2, I go queen b2, you go knight d5, I go e4, and then pin you. That sort of trick. So there's queen f6 at the end of that one. Maybe I could go bishop takes d5 first and e4. You know, those sort of tricks are in the position anyway. You know, so black's got to maybe spend a little bit of time thinking about them. But I mean, a very normal way for white to play would be to take on e5 and go knight b5, for example. You know, and swap off the dark square bishops. You know, entrench
and then
yourself.
Land that knight in on d4.
Yeah, entrench yourself on the d4 square, and then afterwards, you know, you can start expanding. This should be, unless blacks get, you know, find something nice and active, then should be just a very pleasant position for white, really.
Yeah. Okay, that was all the games I had open before we start, but let's try Tactic Monster 12. Against I'm a Pickle. So these are both qualifiers, actually. We've been following those throughout the week. Let's see how this game went. Oh, is going, sorry. Roy Lopez.
Okay, so one of these bishop c5 systems. Sorry, I was just putting the chat a little bit bigger. Yeah, one of these bishop c5 systems. And black's gone g5, h6, g5. So the bishop's on b7. White's going knight h2, and I suppose looking for, you know, knight f1 to e3 to f5 would be would be one thing. The other thing this knight on h2 is doing is preventing knight h5, which would have been maybe a little bit irritating at times. Yeah, black needs a plan here. I mean, I think we've got two main ones, really. I don't like that weakness very much on f5, but maybe it's not, you know, maybe I'm over exaggerating with that. I mean, we can go knight f8 to g6 to f4. You know, that's quite a decent plan. Just activate the knight like that.
Missed.
What we could also do is play the move c6.
c6.
Yeah, c6, which is, yeah, I mean, it activates black's light square bishop. It also activates white's on b3. You know,
yeah.
Which is, I don't know. I find that a little bit worrying at the moment. You know, because I find that I think black's position feels very loose at the moment. So probably my favorite would be to go knight f8. I think
I like this knight maneuver. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, just at the same time as you know, improving a position of one of your pieces, you also give your king a little bit of extra cover. Pardon me, and then afterwards, you can still play c6 later, but maybe with a, you know, a slightly more a slightly more solid king side. I quite like white here at the moment. Just a little bit nervous about black's king side, but I mean, maybe we could
knight f3. Is that's to bring this knight round to f5? Do you think?
Could be. I mean, the other way would be to go queen f3 and then knight f1 to e3. We need to protect the e4 pawn, but playing it like that, queen f3, knight f1 to e3, means you could bring the other knight into g4, maybe. Not sure. We need to calculate that a little bit, just to
because I suddenly thought about h5, h4, but that might be just too much.
h5, I'd normally meet that with h4, I think, and then, you know, and then if you go g4, then your king's really quite open.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's quite quite a weird position, this one. You know, it's but in principle, you know, having the bishop on b7, pointing at the pawn on d5. If you go c6, white's light square bishop gets really active. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what you could also do, I suppose, is to go. It feels wrong somehow, but knight c5. and then after bishop c2, maybe, then you go c6. And the idea is if, the idea would be to bring the knight, after d takes c6, to bring the knight round to e6, f4.
Yeah.
So you sort of do it a little bit quicker.
The other way. Yeah.
But I don't know whether you take on c6. You might just go b4 just to chase the knight back to d7 and then take on c6. They're quite complicated positions, but yeah, in general, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with white, but knight f8 would be my favorite. If white goes something like h4, then we're again also bringing cover, to bear there. Because knight f8, h4 would also not be completely ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, let's check back in on Mickey and see what the meaning was of his fianchetto.
Oh, he did what I said, what I suggested. Okay. So he went b6 and bishop b7. So basically, he's just got a King's Indian attack reversed, basically. So,
yes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, white's solid. That's always a good thing about the London system. But it's got a knight on h2, which is not really, not great coordination really. And black's got e5 in with tempo, and his f4 bishop has moved to g5 and getting hit now. So
yeah, I'm going to guess it's going back to h4.
Well done.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it will do. And then we've got to find out. Then Mickey's got to think what he's going to do for his plan. I mean, I'm quite tempted by the move queen e8, just because I don't particularly want. I think allowing white to exchange off the knight on h2 with knight g4 would be annoying simply. So I'd like to sidestep that if I can, But so queen e8, just get out of the pin. Maybe your knight can come round to d5 after. Maybe queen c8 would be better because it stops bishop a6, which might also be annoying. Maybe you should go to c8 then. That might be better. Stop bishop a6, and then afterwards we're okay.
Oh, I even got my guess wrong. He took.
All right.
You must be happy with that to get the bishop pair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is white going to follow up with a either a knight g4 or a bishop a6 maybe. Just get those light squared bishops off.
Yeah.
I mean, white's doing fine. I think bishop a6. It's not not a problem. You can't avoid that exchange of light squared bishops. So so pardon me, exchange of light squared bishops, and then afterwards white castles, and now maybe you play a quick knight g4, possible as well. Although, as long as black's got some sort of defense of the e4 pawn, you just meet knight g4 by moving the knight away, and then you go h5 to chase it away later. So, not 100% sure that that's so great, but yeah, I mean, black's absolutely fine here, but I think bishop a6 would be a good, generally a good move, I think, to remove black's two bishops, just free up a little bit of space because white's a little bit constricted, and then it also gives white the idea of playing moves like c4 and gaining space on the queen side.
Yeah, if black tries to avoid the exchange of bishops, could go like bishop c6. So bishop a6, bishop c6. I suppose white chases.
Bishop b5 simply, bishop d5, bishop c4. I mean, maybe it would be worth playing bishop a6, bishop d5, bishop c4, and then taking. That's possible. And then if queen c4, then maybe you'll get a d5 with tempo.
d5, yeah.
Possible thinking about that. Maybe after bishop a6, bishop d5, you might just go c4. It's possible. I mean, it weakens the dark squares. I'm not 100% sure about it, but it keeps things complicated, which is maybe not bad. I just think sometimes sometimes you you sort of stimulate these moves, and then they just turn out to be useful for the opponent.
Good moves, yeah.
Maybe I probably would be quite tempted with going bishop a6, bishop b5, and if white goes c4, then you just say, well, at least I'm livening up the position a little bit, but bishop a6, queen c8 is also not bad.
Okay, there's another game actually that we haven't seen yet, which is Phil Brooks against Frederick the Mate, Freddie Gordon.
So yeah, Queen's Gambit Declined is quite popular with
everyone.
With the juniors somehow. I'm wondering why. So takes, bishop g5. I mean, it's a very solid opening, but it's not. It doesn't get your pulse racing really. So
no. Well, the king ending's gone out of fashion a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, but there's loads of Nimzo Indians and that sort of thing, all very
yeah.
Bishop g3.
But,
slightly strange.
Ragazin. But even that's not that exciting, is it?
A bit more exciting than this, I think. But yeah, okay, no, it's not bad. I mean, maybe if you learn to play these positions very well, then it's a very good weapon that'll last you your whole life. I mean, that's absolutely true. So but just surprised to see so many juniors playing it, because Whimsical Jam played it, and now Theo as well. So just wondering whether this is whether there's some sort of conspiracy in English coaching to teach Queen's Gambit.
Oh, because the coaches maybe know how to play it, and so they teach their players.
Yeah, no, it's just I mean, I played it a little bit when I was young, but I found it quite a difficult opening to play, really. So I found stuff like the Queen's Gambit Accepted, where you clear the center of pawns, your pieces get active, much easier, to play strategically and much more active, and sort of suited me more as a child. And whereas I often ended up with rather passive positions in the Queen's Gambit Declined. But yeah, again, everyone's different, really. So well,
I know Phil Brooks, who's playing white here. He's on my team for Ashted when I play for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he knows all about this opening for the white side.
Fair enough. He played bishop g3 rather than bishop h2, which is slightly strange. Normally you put the bishop back to. I've only ever seen it go back to h2, so that's why I'm slightly confused to seeing it go back to g3. Probably doesn't make so much difference, I imagine. It's just that it can get hit by knight e4, knight h5, or bishop d6. It might be. It has the feel that it's a little bit worse than on h2. But yeah, I mean,
maybe trying to tempt Frederick the Mate into playing knight h5 and f5 or something loose. And
yeah, maybe. So what is white going to do here? Well, white's natural plan is the good old Carlsbad, I suppose.
Yep.
So yeah, a3 or rook b1. I mean, the one thing that you can say though is that black's played rook c8. So the question is he intending to go to play a quick c5?
It looks like that's what he's lining up for. That's what I was assuming.
It certainly does. It's just it's then that you sort of you could have a look at knight a4 from white, but then black plays knight e4, for example, and then he's hitting this bishop on g3 as well. It's just I think this pawn g3 feels wrong, really. But if you go a3, I mean, black could play c5, and then if you go dc, then bishop c5, and we'll just claim that we've got plenty of activity with our pieces to compensate for the isolated pawn on d5. Possible, but probably a3 is what I would do. But maybe black could also just play a5. Yeah, black could play a5, but then if he goes c5 afterwards, then it's a little bit more tricky, So because the b5 square is weak, so I'd definitely throw in a3 first. It doesn't ruin anything. If black goes c5, it's decent as well, and then we just try and understand a bit better what black's trying to do.
Good. Well, I'm going to check back in on Mark Hebden.
Ooh, what's he done? He's sacrificed 2 pieces.
Oh, yeah. Something like here.
A4, A5. A good little clamp there. Oh, good lord! And now Mark decided to sack.
How does this work? So he's trying to.
No,
the
sorry.
queen
No,
he takes the rook.
He's just won.
Just winning something.
Yeah, he's just winning something. I completely miscounted. Sorry, I didn't understand what had happened. But yeah, no, he's just won the exchange. So this is just yeah, this is looking very good for white, of course. Queen d3 probably, and protect the pawn on c4, and yeah, you're exchanging a pawn up. So looking very good for Mark.
Nice. Okay, let's see Bogdan.
Okay, so white didn't play this e5. White just played very sensibly. Played h3 to stop bishop g4, and then brought the bishop out to g5. You might have expected Bogdan maybe to play, don't know whether it was completely possible, but to play h6 to stop bishop g5, because this looks a little bit nerve-wracking, really.
Yeah.
But okay, I mean, Bogdan can try g5. It is very risky. But the idea would be that after knight g5, hg, bishop g5, you've always got bishop d4, you know, to support f6. But it looks horrible. I wouldn't
fancy it.
No, but then it's going to be a bit tricky because, well, I mean, I suppose maybe probably black should play bishop e6 here, I suppose. And then if you go knight d5, we just take on d5 with the, yeah, with a bishop. I guess you take back with a bishop, maybe. But then can we maybe consider g5 then? Maybe. Still looks rather unnecessary, but yeah, after bishop takes d5, I mean, white's just got you know, some compensation. Oh, okay.
Bogdan's gone knight e5. Oh, so what about takes, queen takes, rook takes, and bishop takes f6?
Yeah, you're pawn down, remember. So stopping off all those pieces is probably not going to be the best. That's actually quite a good move, knight e5, I think.
Just get a border. So knight e5. Okay. So this one we think is not going to be anything special just because of the material balance currently.
Well, I mean, I could go knight d5 there.
Yeah.
No, before.
Oh, sorry.
I could go knight d5 before bishop takes f6.
Yeah. Rook takes d8, so knight d5 straight away.
Yeah, and then I have to go rook d6. And yeah, it's just a question whether we've got anything clever here. Probably not, actually. We don't. I don't think.
Just like rook d, like takes and rook d1.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, black goes bishop d4. You know, if you go knight takes f6, gf, rook d1, I go bishop d4, and I'm sort of blocking it all, really. You know, so I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's really anything very much, really. So after knight e5, yeah, because Bogdan's aiming to go knight g6 after knight e5 if you don't take it. So it's 12 knight e5. Knight g6 is the idea, to get rid of the pin, but without going e5. So this is actually quite irritating for white. I mean, if there was any justice in the world, I'd go knight. Well, actually, I mean, I could go knight d5 in this position.
Yeah, knight d5 straight away.
So the idea is knight takes c4, and then let me just get this right, because maybe the best way to do it is I want to go. Basically, I want to take on f6 and go queen c1 and fork h6 and c4. That's the idea. So maybe knight f6. Let's try that.
Knight f6 takes queen c1. So we've given up a piece. So can't we just come back?
Yeah, queen takes h6 then. And then knight g6. Well, actually, no. Actually, sorry, knight e5. I'll just take it.
Knight e5 here. You just take like that.
Yeah, and then takes queen h6.
Okay.
So that's not going to work. So yeah, knight c takes. I mean, what you could do, I mean, you can take on c4, knight f6, gf, queen c1, and then you just go somewhere, protect the h7 pawn. I mean, you could go king h7, for example. But okay, I mean, I go queen c4, and maybe I can claim I've got some play. I mean, queen c3. I mean, things if you go rook g8, I can go queen f7. And if you go bishop e6, I go queen c3, and then f6 is hanging. So, you know, the question is whether rook g8 might still be dangerous, because bishop f6, queen d7. All of a sudden, black's got some threats on the d file.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's maybe a bit over the top, but 95. 95 is a good move, I think. It's really,
yeah.
I mean, also after knight d5, black could consider playing g5 even, you know, after knight d5. So
after
13 knight d5.
There we go.
You could consider playing g5 here.
G5.
Because after knight takes g5, you go knight takes d5. It's not 100% clear. I mean, queen h5 is the.
I go knight f7. No, knight.
Well, I'll go queen takes h4. I'm assuming that I'm always fine in those positions, but queen h5 might be interesting. But then I'll just take on g5, I guess. But you take back with a bishop on g5. Not 100% clear this one. Because f6, I've got bishop takes d5, you know, so which is actually quite awkward to deal with. So, how would we do this? And knight f6, I just go queen f6, queen h6 rather. So, which you know, I would assume would be at least a draw, because you can't block with knight g6 because I've got queen g6.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe g5, but I think knight takes c4 is actually also you know, just decent for black. So yeah.
All right. So knight d4 is interesting. Let's see if he's still having a think. I think.
Yeah.
No. It's all happened.
Okay.
So knight e5. Yeah. He did take.
Yeah, I thought about this, but yeah, it didn't look so good really. Yeah, takes queen f3, and then g5 indeed. Bishop g3, and I guess we go queen e7. And then afterwards we'll go c6, and yeah, you're kind of solid really. So in general, I mean, maybe we'll actually go knight d5, and after knight d5, take back with the e pawn and try and get some pressure on the e5 pawn. That's possible.
Yeah,
but in general, I would think that you know, black's got the upper hand here, definitely.
All right, let's see. Peshka the Great. I'm just thinking, have we seen Keith?
No.
Did I? I did definitely do a follow on Keith. So let me just try that again. Maybe this game's not happening for whatever reason.
Okay.
I don't see it.
It could be a default as well, of course. That's always possible for the first round.
All right. Peshka the Great against Whimsical Jam. And Whimsical Jam had done an early a6, and we got into something like that position here.
Yeah, so yeah, the a6 wasn't really that useful there, but because yeah, from that point of view, you could have just played a Tartakova with b6, you know, and that would have been. But okay, this is just quite a typical position. Knight c6, and Yeah, okay, takes. We've got the old hanging pawns.
Yeah.
Looks a little bit, a tiny bit worrying for black, maybe, because these pawns are quite weak. I mean, there was always already a bishop takes f6, knight d5 trick, that was vaguely possible there. It would have, probably led to equality in this case, but there's rook c1. So, yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of tricks, really. I mean, White was probably going to go b3 next move just to pin down that c5 pawn. So c4 played, Capablanca style, bishop e2. But yeah, we've still got some problems with this d5 pawn. I mean, White's going to come around with bishop f3, and then probably go rook d2, rook cd1. Going to be a little bit tough to protect that d5 pawn. It can easily go wrong, basically. So yeah, black's going to have to work very hard there.
Okay. All right. So now this is chess queen against gunslinger.
Yeah, this is where we saw that Tashika playing b5 very early. So black's got pretty nice dark squares here, really. Obviously bishop on f4, knight on c5. So yeah, I mean, in principle, black would like to just start opening the c file and getting down to business, really. So I don't know whether, yeah, I mean, cb5. If you go cb5, bishop d7 followed by rook c8 is going to be really, really nice for black, I think. Maybe cb5, you can go ab5, and if cd5, you could maybe go ed5. I don't know. It's
cb5, ab5.
I mean, I want to go a4 there, basically. I mean, that's the idea, which could be quite strong. Bishop takes c5. I can even throw in a queen a5 check, for example. And this should be quite dangerous. So I think probably c takes b5 would be a good move. But no, yes, for black, I don't think. No, I think this is going to be even better because we go bishop d7 simply, and then rook c8.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think maybe you do have to play a5. Maybe after a4 you can stop. Oh, I don't know. This is just quite unpleasant, really. A4. So you've got knight b3 coming in. Queen a5. It's going to be. It's all going to be a bit tricky, really, I think. So maybe knight e2. I can even go knight b3 then, actually, and then I'll have bishop d2 check coming as well. So I'll be able to go queen a5.
Yeah,
it's quite nasty. I mean, I don't like this position at all for White.
Okay. Harry Grieve.
So rooks have been exchanged. Kings come to the center, like we said, and okay, he played b4 and a4 now. Yeah, black's in big trouble here, simply. I mean, you could, just to be exciting, you could go bishop takes c5 here. And then after bishop c5, you've got rook d2 check.
I'm going to put it on the board. So, bishop takes c5 here, rook d2, and doing a fork here.
Indeed. But we'll just go, I'm not quite sure, king d3, maybe, knight a1, and then ab, and you're completely lost as black because a7 is hanging.
So maybe this plan doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work at all, but black's lost anyway. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So after a4, the black's position is collapsing there. So it's yeah, I think Harry's going to win quite soon there.
Yeah. Okay. Chris Duncan against Ali Shavas.
Ooh, bishop h2 check screams at you.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see if it works.
I mean, even knight g4 is knight g4 be even stronger? Possible. We'll have a look anyway. Knight g4. So yeah, I mean, king g1, queen h4 is curtains. So it's got to be either g3 or h3. I think h3 will probably just take. We'll just play knight takes f2 check, which probably is going to be very strong. You know, we take with the rook on f2 afterwards. Even rook takes f2 might be interesting. So yeah, king g3 is definitely the best. And then what we do, well, the normal move we play is queen g5, but there white's got knight takes e6, which is the slight inconvenience. But that's not so clear, because if I go queen g5 and you go knight e6, and I can go queen g6 maybe.
Yeah.
So the threat is knight takes e3, and if you go knight f4, I just go rook takes f4, because ef I've got knight e3 check simply. So
sorry, I was looking at a different line as well, which is also good.
But knight f4, I got rook takes f4. That was what I was saying there. So and whatever you do, yeah, ef4, knight e3 check is just very good. So, well, okay, if we can just go queen g5,
yeah,
then we're just winning, completely winning. I mean, the fact that you've got the open.
The other line is you can also. I know this looks good for white, for black anyway. Can't you also do that one?
You could do, because it's sort of
if
very
rook
similar
takes, you've got this one.
Queen g5 check. Yeah, that's very good as well.
And then you've got that one as well.
Yeah, knight f2 is a very good move as well. Yeah.
So this is just good for black then. So all right. So
seems to be winning now. Yeah, better than good. It seems to be winning simply.
This is winning.
So, it's
all right. Well, that's fun for Drunken Knight.
Indeed.
I've just noticed that Mark Hebden has chalked up the win. We saw him in the exchange earlier, so that's lovely. He's won his first round. A good start to the tournament.
Excellent stuff.
Okay, let's see. Checkmate a lot.
Oh, so he, yeah, this was where white allowed black to take on d3.
Yes, that's right.
So, yeah, well, yeah, it wasn't particularly good. And actually, there's even bishop d4 now picking up.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so looks like Peter Finn's going to be, going to be winning pretty soon.
Okay. Let's see, nut flush.
Nut flush. So this is one of these bishop b5 Brossolimo Sicilians. Yeah, I mean, I always prefer white here. Queen g5. That's a funny little move. Yeah, hoping for something like bishop e4, rook e4, and then rook h4. You know, it's a bit of a caveman move, this one. But in principle, white's probably a bit more comfortable here. You know, black's. But okay, not quite sure. f6 or something like that. Doesn't fill you with joy, but I guess you can probably end up equalizing like that. Yeah, but they're quite dry positions, really. You know, I never really liked them very much with black. You know, because I always felt that white was just a little bit better. So yeah, maybe f6. You could also try bishop e5. I mean, that's maybe a little bit more risky, but a bit more interesting. And then
you just take this pawn.
Yeah, and bishop f8, queen f8, and then you know, you're the exchange down, but you've got the two bishops. You've got rid of that good white e pawn, so you know, that might be okay. I definitely, if I was black, I'd definitely be looking to try and do it. I think you know, in this position, just change position around, get the two bishops, and then see what happens afterwards.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a little bit risky tactically, but I think it works. I think you get away with it all.
All right, Jonathan Payne.
He's done the trick. So yeah, this is just gonna work. This. So bishop b2, we go queen takes b2 probably, and then knight takes d5. We just go e4, I think, and then e4, and we're a pawn up. You know, it's I mean, it's not like an easy win or anything like that, but it's a pawn. I mean, maybe would it be better to get the bishops off as well? Possibly would be better to get the bishops off, because I think, yeah, if we got a big pawn on d5 and a black piece blockading on d6, I don't think we particularly want our bishop on f3. You know, it's not a great piece. So I'd probably go, you know, bishop b2, queen b2, knight d5. I'd probably take on d5 and then go e4, I think. You know.
Okay.
And just try and get a double rook ending where I've got a big pass pawn, a big pass d pawn. That's probably better, but will still require quite a bit of work. You know, it's obviously clearly better for white, but very much possible for black to put up you know, strong resistance. Simply because, you know, when you lose your weakness, your whole position gets better, really. So it's okay. So this is Phil Brooks. Okay, yeah. So white went rook b1. I was suggesting a3, but and black did indeed go c5 very quickly. Light square bishops have been exchanged, and now whimsical jam. Sorry, Frederick the mate.
Yeah,
is threatening. Is offering the exchange of queens.
Which I think Phil Brooks will take. I think he likes his endgames.
Yeah, no, it's again, I'm getting irritated by this bishop on g3 every time I want to move my knight from e3. It's getting hit by knight e4. You know, that's yeah. I'm getting really upset by that. But yeah, would it be handy to take on b6? Would we be happier? Would we maybe just want to keep things like that and just go rook d1? I mean, I'm just trying to work out what black's going to do. I mean, black might play c5 to c4, you know, and get the get some sort of queenside majority, but we can block that very easily. But it's just, I'm just trying to work out afterwards in that sort of position what is white actually doing concretely. I'm just
after we've exchanged queens, you mean?
Yeah, and I'm just trying to not 100% sure really. Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah. I mean, we could just go rook fd1, you know, before, and then, yeah, if you go c4, maybe I go
to rook fd1 here.
Yeah, this sort of feel that this should be very good for white, really, but I'm not quite feeling it like that. So I'm just sort of wondering why. Maybe I just go knight e5 then, and you know, and then I'm just wanting to go too quickly by all the tactics, basically. You know, just when I want to play some nice positional moves. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure with this. It's weird. I mean, you know, normally I think, you know, white's done everything right. I mean, maybe white should just take on c5 and you know, before exchanging off queens, and just claim that that the ending is good. That's possible.
So just take here.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible too. Maybe sensible. I mean, yeah, what do? We take on b5 maybe and go rook takes c5. But then, yeah, we put the knight on d4 or something. And, you know, we've got our normal solid edge. Knight e4, we have to go bishop h2, unfortunately, but it doesn't really make much difference here. So,
but then you'd stop being annoyed with the position.
Indeed, then it would make me just feel a lot better. Really, it's weird, isn't it? But it really is. I'm really finding it distressing to you know, with this misplaced piece, you know, and always Yeah, it's funny. It's the really weird thing is that it's not it's by no means an unreasonable move, but in virtually every game I've ever seen, White's always put the bishop on h2, and I've never really thought, why is that particularly? But seeing it now today, I'm understanding it, and then getting very annoyed with it. But maybe
You've
this
got
is
chess rage about that bishop.
Chess rage, indeed. It's but I think maybe this is the most sensible, that you just go for the minimal edge, and because his plan with c4 is not so silly, and it shouldn't be good really, because black can't really achieve b5 very easily. But it doesn't look as bad as I expect it to, and black gets bishop b4 in and other stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I'd probably go for something like this. Just not too much ambition. Just take the isolated queen's pawn, and we'll grind.
I'm going to free you from your chess rage and put us back to Mickey Adams' game against Amir Abbas.
Ooh, this is looking very good.
He's got now his fin shadow bishop is lovely, isn't it, on that long diagonal?
Yeah, I mean the problem is that black can just play queen c5 here, which is completely winning in actual fact. Because rook d5, I go queen d5, so.
Oh yeah, that pin.
I mean, you can take on b2 as well, but I mean, I think this is probably clearer. I mean, you just squash white completely with. You're going to go d4 next, and you can even start thinking about hitting the bishop on b3 with queen b4. I mean, you're even threatening d takes c4. So I think this is completely winning for white. So queen c5, and it's all over, I think.
Okay. Nice position for Mickey.
Yeah.
Are there any games I did not get? I think Oliver Stubbs we didn't yet, have we? Let me just do that one. Unagi 5. Here we go. I'll do it right from the another London system. Ooh. Everybody is doing it.
It's all going horribly wrong, though. That's the.
Let's see it.
Okay, this is the quite a topical line. c4. That feels wrong. c4 in the London system. c3 is always the move. Especially with you've lost your dark squared bishop, you've got some control over the e5 square. You should be getting some control over the d4 square as well, and just make sure you've got a grip on the center. And c4 is not giving you that grip really. So yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous about that move. So queen c5, rook c1, g6, cd. Ooh, queen c2. Ooh. Well, if you're having to do that, then basically it's the opening hasn't gone very well for you, really. I guess that's probably true, really. So okay, queen c2. But now black's just got a very nice position with this gorgeous bishop on g7.
Yeah.
So bishop b5. Ooh, and bishop c6. Ooh. Yeah, those are two gorgeous bishops, really.
Yeah.
So bishop b5 and then rook c8. Ooh, rook c1. He took that. Well, I mean, bishop d3 does actually pick up a pawn, of course.
Maybe that's what he'll do.
Yeah. It's a little bit strange to have swapped off the rooks like that before doing it. Because bishop d3, we go rook c7. Bishop b2, and then maybe we go knight e5, maybe. Try and do it that way. It's not 100% clear. I think it would probably been better if black hadn't swapped off the rooks, to be honest. Or if you're going to swap off a rook, maybe your a rook would have been better and leave your f rook defending the f7 pawn.
Yeah, because white can counter-attack.
Yeah, I think because black could have just gone bishop d3 immediately after rook e1. So and bishop d3 immediately was possible, and then rook c7 bishop takes b2. And then any knight e5s, they're not attacking your f7 pawn. That's protected. So I think that would have been. Feels to me like that would have been the best way to do it. If you're going to do this bishop d3 line, but I mean, you could equally just play something like rook a d8 and rook d5, something like that. It's yeah.
All right.
Bishop b5 was also maybe a little bit, I don't know, difficult. I'd been very tempted just to go rook c8, instead of bishop b5, just to go rook c8, and then just swap off both pairs of rooks, and then just play the two bishop ending, which should be very strong for black, so
yeah.
But rook a8 here, and yeah. What can I say? I mean, it's plenty of choices really, but black's still doing well there.
Okay. Ogden against George.
Yeah, this is black.
So he has done g5.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, I mean, black's just got a extra pawn, and that bishop on g3 is horrific. So it's clearly winning for black, this one.
Yeah. Okay. Peshka the Great against whimsical Jam.
Yeah, so there's a big there's a big fight going on around the c4 and d5 pawns. Yeah, rook c1 played now. So yeah, more pressure on c4, and but whimsical Jam's doing pretty well here, really. I think he's putting up a good resistance. I mean, you could easily think of going queen b4 here. Yeah, queen b4, or would I want to go? There's plenty of moves here. I mean, CB and queen b4 is interesting. Hitting the bishop on h4 and the pawn on b3.
Yeah.
Yes, checkmate lot. We were a bit surprised by we were certainly surprised by castles after d8.
And allowing to take on d3. So takes here we're looking at.
Yeah. So pardon me. Bishop takes f6. Bishop f6, and then knight a2. And then we go queen a3, I guess.
Can we not?
Well, queen b3 I take, and then I go rook c6 afterwards. So queen a3. And yeah, I mean, queen c6, queen a2. I don't know. I mean, I think the maximum you're going to get as white is a position where you've got the d5 pawn, but exchanged off lots of stuff. So this doesn't look like anything at all for white.
So you might take on.
Yeah, maybe that take on b3.
Take on there.
It's queen. Even play d4. I don't know. I mean, it's all good. It's all. This is just fine for black. I mean, this is not.
Yeah.
So it could. I mean, that looks quite concrete, really. I mean, I suppose what you can do after queen b4 is you can go bishop g3, though, and hit the rook on b8, which is irritating, of course. So and that might be annoying because
maybe you go this way and try and pin
bishop a6. Then that's the problem. Yeah, but then I take it and go queen b1 or something, and well, I'm a pawn up, I mean, what can I say? It's so yeah. So bishop g3 is the annoying one. So could we do better than this? Well, we probably can do better than this, but just go back
to before
rook bc1, 20 rook bc1. I mean, I like all these ideas of hitting that bishop on h4, but I may be getting carried away with that. I mean, d4 was interesting from that point of view as well. You know, and if e takes d4, then I go rook takes d4. But I guess you could just go rook takes, queen takes, and bishop g3. But then, I mean, then I can start thinking about going. Let's have a look. C takes b3. A takes b3. And, well, let's say rook a8, just to be completely safe. That bishop on c6 is a little bit funny, but I don't immediately see a way to get it. I know it feels like White's control over the position is very fragile, you know, and so I sort of think maybe we could have some ideas here for Black. Can we go back to d4?
D4, yes.
Because ed rook d4. I mean, you know, you can go bishop f6 ideas and bishop c4, but then I go rook g4 after or something. I would have thought. I mean, we could take on d4. Rook takes d4, and then I'm not quite sure how, but let's say rook takes d4. Queen takes d4, bishop f6. Let's say bishop f6 because that's the most natural. And then bishop c4. This is possible, but you'd expect Black to have some sort of counterplay. You know, rook e8, for example. You know, I mean, there must be some danger with bishop takes g2 coming in and stuff like that. I mean, maybe bishop g2 immediately is possible.
Yeah.
You know, it's there's queen g6, but you know, I mean, this sort of thing is quite possible, really. So actually, queen g6 would be queen takes c4. So I wouldn't mind being Black in this position. I'd expect that I'd have full compensation there somehow.
I think so too.
So maybe d4 for Black. It feels like the moment. It just basically feels like the moment is ripe for Black to do something, you know, and that waiting for too long would be a little bit of a shame. That's
all right. Let's see what happened then. Oh, is it still thinking?
He's still thinking there.
Having a good think. Well, yes. Hi, Dionysian 2020.
Hi, Dionysian. Yeah, I mean, you could go d4 now, actually. That's also possible. That would also save all your problems with bishop takes c4 happening. That could just be very reasonable.
Yeah, so d4.
Just d4 here. It might be a better move order.
Yeah, so takes. Oops, I have to do this board. So d4 takes.
Yeah, bishop d3 and rook a8. Let's just say. I mean, maybe you know, maybe I can play more actively and go rook e8 or something like that. I don't know, but rook a8, it looks quite safe anyway. Yeah, I mean, you know, White can play bishop c4, for example, and he's got some little queen g6 ideas at times. But I mean, but we can just go bishop b7, you know, because queen g6 is met by queen c4 all the time.
Yeah.
So and then we go at some stage. We go, you know, we'll maybe try and swap off the dark square bishop. And White's a tiny bit better, but it's not, you know, it shouldn't be alarming or anything, I think. So so far looks like Whimsical Jam is
it's doing fine.
It's holding up nicely.
Yeah. Okay. This one was good for Gunslinger when we looked before. Oh, we have had this line then. So CB, AB, and we were previously looking at A4 for Black to play.
Yeah, Black played his queen over to H6, which was a little bit strange, maybe. But then played f5. C takes b5, a takes b5. Yeah, I mean, in principle, black's doing very nicely here. Should be, you know. I mean, but somehow the one thing is that you know, white's got quite good control over the light squares now. So you sort of wonder whether, you know, you could do something to that could, you know, counter black on that area. I mean, stuff like, you know, you see that bishop takes c5, dc, and then queen g2 to g4 is possible, for example. Yeah, not at all clear that that's any good. Probably isn't, but you've just got a little bit of that white square control really to, you know, which could be useful for white at some stage. But I think black's still quite a bit better here. Can go rook f5, king to h8, and yeah, there's f3 pawn. There's yeah, there's dark squares with all over the place. Should still be better for black, this one.
Okay, I think we didn't see the very end of this. Harry Grieve has now won against Schlockvarner.
Indeed.
Okay, Shavs against Drunken Knight. Ooh, this king looks in danger.
Indeed. So he did play the bishop h2 sack. Oh, he played your knight takes f2, Natasha.
Yeah, okay, good.
So this is nearly finished.
Let's see it.
Queen h4 is going to be mate now. Yeah.
It's just there. Okay. Only he's picked up the rook. Mate.
Ends the game.
Well done, Chris Duncan. Okay. Aha, f6. That was your prediction, I think.
Indeed. And black took a long time over it. Yeah. No, he played queen d7 first and then went f6. But that's the... I mentioned it anyway as an idea.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, I mean, white can just play queen d2, for example. That would be quite normal. Yeah, it's a bit dull for black, really. You know, it's sort of, you sort of look at it and think, oh God, what am I going to do to make anything of this position, really? So, yeah, I mean, white's just a little bit better, you know, and there's not really very much happening in the position, really, for black. So yeah, you just got to try and emerge step by step. You know, that's all you can do.
All right, Johnny Payne.
Yeah, pawn up.
Looking good for him.
He's 2 pawns up actually. So a little trick there. If bishop d5, we got rook c8 check. So that's quite nice. So yeah, white looking odds on for the win there.
Yep. Okay. And Frederick the mate, Phil Brooks. He's got his bishop back on h2.
Yeah, black played c4. Yeah, I was a bit worried about that, really. It looked like it was actually helping black. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess white's going to play for e4 now. White is a little bit better here. You know, I mean, you've got more breaks and you've some pressure on b6. You're going to go knight d2 and threaten e4. That's going to be hard to counter in the long term. I mean, if you go f5, then I go f3. So yeah, bit of an unpleasant one, really, for black. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, you need a lot of patience, don't you, to play a position like this?
You certainly do. I mean, I'm wondering, you know, what I should do with my knight on g6, because it's certainly not doing anything at the moment. This looks a little bit risky, but what's black's idea?
I think he wants to go b5.
Well, indeed, but I think the idea is to go b5 followed by bishop a5. I think that's the idea. So, because I mean, knight d2 is natural for white here. And then I think black will maybe play b5. And then after AB, you might go AB or you might go bishop a5. Because in principle, your b pawn's a bit hard to defend because the bishop on h2 is stopping rook b8. You know, that's what I'm slightly wondering about takes. And maybe after AB, maybe I go bishop a5 immediately. Would that be a possibility?
Yeah. So you could defend.
I mean, you can go. Yeah, but then I go AB simply. Then I go AB simply, and yeah, the point is you're not going to be able to develop that pressure on the b5 pawn. That's the idea. Oh, Barbican and Islington quick play. Yeah.
Hi, water power.
This is quite interesting. So I mean, I could go rook a2 here. That's that one.
Even that Barbican quick play from like the 1980s. I remember those very well. They were a lot of fun.
So, yeah. I mean, I could go rook a2 here. And bishop c3, there would be ba, which is probably quite dangerous. But what I could do is just go rook takes b5 instead.
So just rook here.
Which looks a bit odd, but the idea simply is that maybe rook a3 then would be possible. Just to defend the c3 pawn and keep pressuring that bishop. That could be awkward. That could be awkward.
Waterpower, I think I'm actually the reigning Barbican quick play champion because in the very last one, I think I beat Bertie Barlow in the last round. I never had won it before then, but I think I won the very last one.
That sounds like a championship performance indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe actually instead of, I could maybe take on c3 and after ba go rook a7 maybe.
Yeah.
Possible.
Okay, we did have that line in there, didn't we? Here.
Yeah, b takes a6 and then rook a7.
Yeah.
Because I'm threatening bishop d2 and rook a6, which doesn't look so bad. Maybe.
Yeah, and if you defend, I can just double up.
Or I could even take your rook if I'm particularly keen on it.
Oh, that's true as well. That's even better. So you can't defend.
Interesting. I think, yeah, interesting plan, this b5. It might. I mean, also after a takes b5, it could play a takes b5 straight away, you know, and but I was sort of thinking then that white might go rook a1 and sort of stop you playing bishop a5, and I was a little bit nervous about it. But interesting position. Mm-hmm. I think white's a little bit better, but you know, it's black's fighting. Oh. Okay, black's okay. Black didn't go for the big activity. He went for
White's moved the bishop back to g3.
So no, well, it's fine there. I mean, there's no knight coming in on e4. But when the f4 happens and the key tactic is that the bishop on g3 is hanging, then I'm going to be very upset again. But this is black's gone for the old static hold, really. You know, with the playing f5 to stop e4. Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a long one. I mean, I quite fancy knight e1 to c2 actually as one possible idea. Because knight b4 might be a bit irritating. That could be one idea. I
just remembered Phil quite likes his time trouble.
Oh,
could get exciting at the end.
He's a bit short, isn't he?
Yeah.
But black's doing a pretty solid job of holding here. So yeah.
All right.
Not easy for white.
All right. I'm going to go back to.
I mean, yeah. Just thinking. I mean, one idea for white might be just to go bishop f4 actually, and then try and.
Back in here.
Double. No, it's okay. Don't worry. It's not important. It's yeah. Mickey played. He played something.
Oh, look at these pawns coming through. This looks really nice for
Yeah,
Mickey.
he played Queen C5. So this is just this is completely killing.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go D3, I guess, won't we? I think.
If the knight moves.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, just E3 straight away.
D3, and then F4 and E3 maybe. You know, I mean, that's probably good enough to win on the spot. Because Queen E1, I get Bishop C3, and then Queen F1. I think I can just go F4, Knight D5, E3, and
yes.
E2.
Oh god, there's even this sort of stuff if that pawn goes out the way, isn't it?
I don't know. I mean, something like that. I mean, obviously Mickey will have to calculate it, but it's you know, Queen F6 is also just very, you know, could also be something like that. Could also be strong, or Queen C7. You know, just protecting the rook on D8, and then after Knight D5, you take it, and then that's going to be 2 pawns up. You know, it's is it 3 even? It could be 3 even. Yeah, it'll be 3 pawns up. So yeah.
Mickey has the best picture, doesn't he? It's a kind of like a robotic.
Yeah. Robotic Mickey.
Robotic
wow.
Mickey.
Computer assisted Mickey.
Well, I don't know about that. Okay, so we've got I'm a Pickle against Tactic Monster, and it looks like Tactic Monster has got his knight right in. Okay. King G1 was just played.
Okay, so
because I guess if Queen takes E3, we've got C4.
Yeah, where did that king? Oh, it was on F. No, the king was on F1, so it was pinned. So yeah.
If Queen takes C3, we do, don't we? Have C4.
We do now, but he wasn't able to play Queen takes C3 before because the king was on F1. That's what I mean. So this should be very promising for Black. Just got to do it in the right way.
Oh, Black's given up the exchange to do this.
Indeed. Yeah. So what's a little bit annoying is that if we go C4, then we're sort of pinned. So White can just go Bishop F2, and we don't actually have a move really. And if I go Queen takes C2, Rook E2, and C4, which seems almost decisive, then actually White goes Bishop F2, and again he's yeah.
Well, okay, so that's weird because it feels to me like Black should have something.
Yeah, I mean Black feels winning really, but I'm not 100% sure. How many pawns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2 pawns for the exchange. I mean, Knight G6 to F4 has a certain good vibe to it. But again, I'm not sure. I mean, Knight G6, Queen E2, Rook E2, Knight G6. We'd go. We could even go Rook takes E3, C4, Bishop F2, and those endings are not very clear at all. How odd! Why isn't this winning? I don't know. I can't see. I'm actually struggling to find a decent continuation for Black. Actually, one that I think is even equal. It's quite awkward. This.
Yeah. Okay. So we were looking at C4, Bishop F2.
Yeah.
We think this is going to be tricky.
Yeah.
Because we can't take on B3.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, we've got all sorts of stuff where you play knight takes g2, for example. In knight c2, I just take it, and
Knight c2 takes, and then we take here.
Now I can take that, I suppose.
Take this one.
Yeah. Just
And nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go something like knight takes g2, maybe. But I'm just worried that when the queens get off and this, I take a knight on b3 or something, that that sort of structure, then I'm just going to end up worse. So I'm really worried about.
Yeah.
I mean, I can throw in a knight g6, but it's all, I don't know. Hey, Decoder. Yeah, no, I'm a bit worried about this. I don't really know what Black should do. So I'm afraid the inspiration is going to have to come from Aryan in this case.
How about knight takes d5?
Yeah, we can do that. E takes d5.
Then I guess we have to take on f2 in order to take back the piece.
Well, I mean, you can go cb3, queen b5, bishop f2 check if you want.
Okay.
But I just take it back and go rook e5. I mean, white must be better here. With all this.
c6.
Okay, rook g5 check. Or rook a8 maybe, even, just to pin the knight. I mean, it's yeah. Black's position is sort of not really. Hey, Fouad Safar. I don't know. I'm just I'm serious.
Ah, thank you for the raid. Thank you, Ginger GM.
Wow, thanks, Ginger GM. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so we are watching the first round of the British Championships. And so people have been qualifying throughout the week to get into this. It's the online championships. And at the moment, we are looking at I'm a Pickle v Tactic Monster. So that's Arjun Kalani against, I'm going to work out who it's against, is... I've just found one game we haven't looked at yet at all.
Okay, but who's I'm a Pickle, Natasha?
I'm a Pickle is... I'm just trying to find it. There we go, Stephen Willison.
Okay. Could you just go back a move, Natasha, just before c4, and we just see whether we've got anything else here? Because again, if you just show me this position, I'll say I'm sure Black must have something, but it just seems to be almost difficult for Black, this position. Just this resource bishop f2 is just indeed, he is a pickle, basically. That is true. It's there's no more to be said there, but we suspect he has a real different name. That's the thing, Shawnee 18. So
Shawnee 18 is Sean the Prawn, isn't he? I hope I'm not mixing that up.
Yeah, f6 is possible. It's just I just think I'm always going to end up a bit worse, blue grey haze, with Black, and I'm feeling that it feels like injustice, really. That's the thing. I think I may be just over. I was expecting more from this position for Black somehow, but this resource bishop f2 is really.
It's okay. f6.
No, not here. Not here. This queen takes b5 then. So no, I mean, this bishop f2 resource just looks really good. I mean, I was wondering whether we could throw in a knight g6, knight f4, but it doesn't look like anything really. It's just randomly sort of I don't know. I really don't know. I think that Black's in a little bit of a pickle here. So we will see. Should we have a look at another game, Natasha?
Yes, well, let's just see if he made a move yet. He is having a think. Should we go back to Mickey Adams and see how he's doing? So he has indeed advanced his pawn, and now bishop d5 is looking very good for black.
Indeed, he's now going to be 3 pawns up, and yeah, after c takes d5, we take on e3, we take on d5 afterwards, and well, solid as a rock, really. That's yeah, queen takes e3 now, I think, and then rook d5, and yeah, I mean that's huge for black.
Okay, all right, Peshka the Great against Whimsical Jam, and so now all his pieces are central.
Indeed, Whimsical Jam did play rook takes d4. But what happened there actually was that after bishop g3, so 23 bishop g3, then he didn't go rook a8, which we thought was, you know, kind of safe and holding everything. He went for the counterplay, so he went rook bd8, takes rook takes d4. Now bishop a6, ooh, and knight e4. Wow, Whimsical Jam, going for it big time. So what is happening here? Actually, this is quite dangerous for white, looks like.
Now, so what if can white just take the knight?
He can do that. You can't physically prevent him, Natasha.
So takes, check here. What have we got?
Takes d4. Yeah, knight d2 then, I think. But we just go bishop e4, I think.
Okay.
And then afterwards we go bishop d3. So
yeah. So this is going to be good for black.
Yeah, I mean you can go rook c3, bishop b4, rook e3, but I mean don't yeah. Sort of don't complain if it all goes horribly wrong, you know. So it's I mean probably we go f5 and then bishop d2 or something. You know, I mean this is gonna work for black.
Yeah. Okay.
No way it can't.
So okay. Yeah. So it's too dangerous to take.
Yeah, but it's so if we go back to 94, 25, 94.
Okay.
But what is white going to do then? Because knight takes c3 is a threat. You know, it's and any move where you move your knight away, I'm taking on c2 and going rook d1 check.
Indeed.
This is really this is quite nasty. Maybe bishop c4 is the move here. Let's well, yeah. Is this gonna? Oh, it's not. It's not. Oh, Matthew, idiot! It's not going to work. No, I was thinking because we go rook d2 here now, simply, and knight takes c4. We go rook takes c2.
Rook takes c2, and if you take the queen, we're taking the rook for nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's good for black. So Whimsical Jam has found a very nice resource here then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering whether this is just very good for black, actually. How are we going to do this? Natasha, inspiration, please.
Right, inspiration for white. I
mean, we've got this bishop g3 again, which is getting hit by the knight on g3.
Which one? Bishop.
We got a bishop on g3 here again, getting hit by a knight.
I know. It wasn't lost on me. Matthew had earlier, for people who weren't here before, had chess rage about a bishop that he felt was misplaced on the g3 square. A different game, but also it was going to be hit by a knight e4.
Yeah, and it's just one of the things white normally puts on h2, and white here put it on g3. But just in every single tactic, it was getting hit all the time. So it was so frustrating that none of the nice things that you wanted to do were ever working somehow. So I don't know. I'm getting a bit panicky here.
I was going to say we want to stop all these back rank mate threats and move one of these pawns, but then clearly that bishop on g3 just gets taken. So
yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I think that white's in huge trouble here, actually. I mean, maybe this line that we looked at first, maybe you have to calculate this, but I can't believe it's working.
Taking on E4.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just trying to think. Maybe. No. I was thinking, could I go bishop f1? But then you go rook d2 again, don't you? You just see that on the board.
So bishop f1 here.
After knight e4. Yeah, after knight e4. Bishop f1. No, just to sort of preemptively block the back rank. But we go rook d2 here.
It's all falling apart on f2.
The answer was knight a2. Knight a2. Oh, good lord. And you're going rook c1 at the end. Clever. Okay. So
sorry, what? Oh, knight a2 was played, was it?
Yeah, after knight e4.
Okay.
No, 25 knight e4.
Yeah, let me find it. There we go.
Then knight a2 was played. Yeah.
Knight a2.
Oh, it was not played. Okay. It's a toughie, that one, because the idea is queen c2. The idea is queen c2, rook c2, rook d1, bishop f1, bishop b5, rook c1. That's the idea. And this cunning knight on a2 does the biz. I mean, actually, this is just a draw because I can take on I can take on f1. Let's do it the easiest way. Takes, and knight d2 check. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here. So this must mean Whimsical Jam is winning then. Let's see. This is the actual position now. What it actually did was what we were looking at. So knight takes, queen takes, rook d1, bishop f1, and this was the line we have had in our analysis. And we were looking at rook c3.
Yeah, rook c3 I think is the only move to stop bishop d3.
Yeah. Let's go back on a board.
Yeah, and then
bishop
d4 we were saying. I think that's probably going to work. Rook e3, and then f5.
Our crowd has the advantages of looking at the computer, and only knight a2 and b4 weren't losing.
b4, okay, yeah. We were kind of looking more at we're looking at lines that we're trying to keep that extra pawn for white, but I think it's Is it clearly lost now though? The threat's just what, bishop d2? Bishop d2 is the threat, yeah. And I'm not sure how you're stopping that really, because I mean we can try. I mean, because bishop, yeah, both incredibly difficult to find. Is true. Knight a2 is it has to be. You have to do it by process of elimination, I think, really, because I think the key difficulty always is obviously time is a factor, and you're looking at this position. You're not sure, is it lost? Is it holding? And it's hard to know how much time to dedicate to other things. Really, if you know this is lost 100%, then you'll look for something else. But if you're not sure, then you might just say, okay, well, let's go for this. I mean, bishop d2 just looks really, really strong, and that king is so blocked. And if you go bishop f4, I'll go g5 simply. So just to chase you away, you go bishop e5, and I go bishop d2. Yeah. I mean, I guess you can grovel on really, because you can go rook somewhere, rook h3, for example, and I go g4. Defending this pawn. You go rook d3.
Then we have to go h5.
Yeah, then we'll go b4. That's the idea. We want to go b4, and then we're still going to be around on the third rank.
Oh, I see. We've still got a space on that third rank.
I think maybe we just go bishop c6 or something, and then we don't try and get to we just go bishop c6 and then go.
Just go for a different square on the same diagonal.
Bishop b5. This must be losing. I mean, there's no way that this is not losing. So wow, that would be a hell of a shot, because Peshka the Great's been playing very well in all sorts of all sorts of chess. He's a very strong player. So
yeah, I mean, both of these very young players as well, strong and young players. So Peshka's, how old is he?
13, I think.
Yeah, and Whimsical Jam's 11 or something, if I'm remembering right.
So no,
don't jinx him. Sorry. Yes, Theo is 11. I am remembering right, but we shouldn't. Shall we move on to a different game so we don't jinx him, and we'll come back very soon. Let's see Frederick the Mate, another young player. And this was the one. Oh, Matthew, you'll be very happy to see that bishop has now been swapped off. The bishop was on G3.
Yeah, indeed. But I think, yeah, Black could just go G4 here, actually, and there won't be, not that much will happen, I think, in the rest of the game. So G4 would just be quite equal here, I think.
Yeah. Now, so White only has 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, you don't need to play it immediately, but I wouldn't have thought that Black's really got a lot that he's going to do here. So I would have thought the natural result was a draw here. But
so Black would try via. So if you do G4, you'd try via B4, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but then we can just block that. I mean, that would just be if you go G4, then you're really. But Rook B1. So
looks like Frederick's playing for the win here.
Indeed, indeed. It's quite a tough one to win, I think. So I don't really know how you'd go about doing that, really. You've got to be careful.
Yeah,
I mean,
Checkmate-a-lot says he's going to try and win.
Yeah.
You know him pretty well, don't you, Checkmate-a-lot?
I could play Rook H2 here, for example, and then I'm threatening to come in to open the H file with HG, and so yeah, I don't know. I don't think much of Black's chances, really.
Theo, I don't think Theo is necessarily the youngest player, because I think Frederick the Mate is a similar age. Right, Sanchez says same age. Don't know when their birthdays are exactly. Freddie is 10, says Checkmate-a-lot. So he must be the youngest, right? The other game we didn't look at, I think, was... Did we try Diamond Knot? But I don't know if it's happening, because I did do a follow on him. Let's see if that's... Dime O Knot, I think is how you do it. Maybe that game didn't happen in the end. All right, so Freddie's trying to double up on this B file.
Yeah.
Youngest girl, I think there's Tashika Aurora and Olga Latipova. How old is she? 2008, so makes her about 12 or 13. How old is Tashika Aurora? She is 2008 as well, the same age.
All right, we're getting a request for Yichin and Theo. So
that's it.
Okay.
We apologise to Theo's parents in case we jinx him. Apologise in advance. Let's see it.
There we are. Yeah.
No.
Oh, he's got jinxed.
Oh, no, don't tell me that.
Yeah. Yeah, White's. Yeah, White's. Yeah. Bishop F4.
Can we defend with Bishop C? Oh no, we can't.
Yeah, White just probably. Is this winning? It probably is winning now. Yeah,
it's already done.
Yeah, that was clever from Black, of course. But I mean, Bishop Chief. Yeah, Bishop A3. You know, there's all sorts of moves that would have stopped Rook C1 there. But yeah, that's a bit tough, really. But yeah, I mean, all credit to Yichin for finding this resource. Very similar to the Knight A2 Rook C1 that we saw before. Yeah, it's tricky. So
well, I mean, he's doing amazingly well, though.
Yeah,
Theo. Yeah.
This is, with a pass B pawn, this is going to be losing now. So unfortunately, all of the pieces are coming off really. So and we can try bishop E2, but then I take on D1 and go bishop C4. And again, you'd expect this to be quite an unusual ending actually, but you'd expect this to be winning for white.
Oh, it's a tough old game of chess, isn't it? You do all that stuff to cleverly get a winning position.
It's a tough one. It's
really tough. Oh, yeah. Hang on, but now funny. Oh, bishop C2, bishop C4. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's particularly bad because oh, Freddie's game. Is Freddie's game going wrong?
So oh no. Let's see Freddie's game too. So this is the rook ending.
Oh dear, that's worrying.
Open H file.
Yeah, I said the open H file.
Yeah, I mean, look, I said Phil Brooks is good at endings, and he is. So we've got to be careful.
Yeah, no, this is just this is kind of yeah.
Chess is hard. Yes, Neil Barker. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this is already quite difficult for black, I think. I don't know whether I'm just wondering about F4, just because the white king's in the way. But I don't know. I just have the feeling that what I'm thinking about is going F4, and if you go something like EF, if somehow you go to EF, F4, yeah, let's just say GF.
Oh, GF, sorry.
No, I was EF.
GF.
Yeah, and then I mean you could take on F4, or you could go G4. Let's just say GF because the rook gets active, and then B4. This was what I was wondering about, just to try and get some active sort of rooks there. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit desperate, really, and we're going out with C takes B4, probably rook G1 check, and yeah, I mean it could be, yeah. If black survives this, then I think he'll be very lucky because actually the king's in huge danger. Actually, rook G1 check probably wins anyway.
Rook G1 check straight away.
King F6, rook H6, or King F7, rook H7. So yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think
so king F7 here.
Yeah, I'll go probably rook H7 check. King F6. Yeah, I don't know. Something or other. I'm not quite sure what. I mean, it's a bit desperate for black, basically. I mean. So if anyone's got the chances to win here, it's definitely white. So yeah, I mean we're gonna have to see.
Right, but I'm contending it's not lost yet.
No. Freddie's is I think is better than Yichin's game there, than Theo's game there, because Theo everything's being swapped off, and I think that those B pawns will be that B pawn will be very hard to deal with. This one's still some random chances, I think, still. But it's quite tough to make the switch, really, when you've been doing really well and then switch back to bishop G5 maybe, or bishop A3. I'm not quite sure which one, but you had to stop basically the rook coming back to C1. I think that was the key. I'm not sure bishop G5 was winning, so I think we could just take on G5 and go rook C3 and stop things somehow, I think.
All right, let's check in on I'm a Pickle against Tactic Monster.
Oh, I think there's been a bit of a. Let's have a look then. How did so C4 was played?
C4.
Oh, there was a bit of a.
Yes, this tricky position, and bishop F2.
Yeah. The bishop F2, knight G6 was played.
That was your idea, wasn't it? Knight G6.
Yeah, I had it. I wasn't sort of super wowed with it, really. I thought bishop takes C3 would actually work all right here. But white played g3, which is quite interesting. Knight takes d5, e takes d5, c takes b3. This has worked out very well then, because we had this position but with a knight on f8, and here knight on g6 is protecting the pawn on e5. So Arjen worked this out nicely. I think g3 was not a good move from that point of view, but very clever. So and here white tried a trickaroonie. He tried rook a8 to distract the rook away from. Because I mean, I think if white takes the queen, bishop f2, king f2, rook takes b5, rook d1, then probably, well, it's an unclear ending, but white's not worse. But here we just played bishop takes f2 check, king g2, and now was this really necessary? Maybe it was. Yeah, rook takes a8.
We're giving up the queen. Oh,
yeah, queen takes b5, but we take. So we've got yeah,
rook, knight, and bishop.
Pieces. Yeah. So probably this is going to be very good. The black king's quite safe. So we just go queen b7. We meet with rook a2.
So Arjen's done really well to get to this, right?
He's done
what
astonishingly
he had.
well.
Yeah.
He's done astonishingly well. So yeah, this is probably just winning in actual fact for black. Queen b7, rook a2, queen c7, rook b2. Yeah, that's going to be winning.
Because he's another youngster, isn't he?
He is quite young, yes, indeed.
Check that one out. 2007.
Oh, an old man already. So, no, brilliant, fantastic, very nice. Yeah, very nice tactics, very nice game. Okay,
so let's see. Oh, I've got an arrow in there. Let's see Oliver Stubbs against Gerasimos Gatchos.
Let's have a look. Go a bit further down. Let's have a look where we're at the moment.
Sorry, this is current position.
Oh,
pieces.
Well, this is just winning for white, I guess.
Like it.
Knight f6. Black goes rook h8, and then we go knight g8 check. King h5 and h3 or something like that.
Right. Sorry. So knight. Did you say knight f6?
Knight f6. Yeah. Well, knight f8 is probably better actually. Come to think of it. Oh no, knight f8. There's rook e7. So knight f6. Let's do that. Rook h8.
Yeah. Stop mate.
And then
distraction sacrifice.
Indeed. So king h5. Yeah, I don't know. h3 here. Is this at the very least we're winning a piece here, so it
does look like mate to follow.
I mean,
doesn't it?
There's bishop e2. That's what I was wondering about, but
yeah,
and I could always go g4 check. Yeah.
Oh no, we could check. Right, check.
But you go yeah, then I go knight f6 check. But I mean, I could go black can go king h4. But I guess, I mean, I'm guessing I'm going to find something somehow.
So king h4 here.
Yeah. God. No, wait a minute. Let's try and be clever. Move it back a couple of moves.
Yeah.
Maybe h3 isn't right.
Okay, so we got to this position. Maybe f3.
Well, yeah, but then I can't go knight f3 check.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I was an engine. Yeah, I mean, maybe what I can do is to go. Well, actually, why don't I just go knight f6 check, king h8, and g4 here now.
King h6.
And g4 now.
Yeah.
With threat of knight g8 and rook h7
again.
So that's going to work.
Yeah, because how would you stop that?
With great difficulty.
Yeah. You can't. I'm checkmating.
Indeed. I don't checkmate a lot. But I do checkmate. So, yeah, okay. So that's just winning. Wow, what a turnaround. Because Black was doing really, really well.
So, has he... Oh, he's played it.
He's played it. Thank goodness I spotted that just in time. I think
yes.
He was, good Lord. Yes, I know. I went knight g8 and back to f6. I was demonstrating my understanding. Oh dear.
Gaining time on the clock, right?
Indeed. So
right. What about Frederick? Oh, Frederick the mate's drawn.
Oh, well played, young man.
There we go.
Excellent. My goodness me.
They've played a lot of moves because Phil was down on 1 minute and he's up to 4 now.
Yeah, those moves played quickly. My goodness.
Let's check in on Nut Flush because we didn't for a little while.
Okay. Oh, well, this has gone nicely for Nut Flush. He's now a little bit better. So knight a3 is not great. Well, it's still quite solid, but yeah, we can grind a little bit here.
Okay, so Mickey Adams won in the end. That was also on results. Actually, Bogdan won.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I don't know whether we saw it. And Drunken Knight won. Yeah, we did see that one.
That one, yeah.
And also Johnny Payne won.
Ah, yes, that was
well done to those. Okay, let's see again. Tactic Monster.
Ooh. Yeah, this was kind of expected. So rook c2. Ah, that's a very nice move. We don't even need the bishop. So queen b8, king g7, king e1, b2, queen b4, rook c1 check, and b1 queen.
Yeah. And looking very good for Black here. Okay, this one we were just looking at that White has now won, Black resigned because of the forced mate. Okay, let's check back in on Whimsical Jam. So,
yeah, this is losing here. King's just going to the king's side.
Yeah, pair of bishops have come off. Yeah,
hard luck, Whimsical Jam. That was a really good effort, and yeah.
Okay, so I think those are the only games left. These three. Nut Flush.
Now you're interested in seeing whether Nut Flush makes a mistake, aren't you, Natasha?
Yes, definitely.
Because he is the man who used to well, to be very nice and give you advice on chess, but also squirt you with a water pistol if you got the wrong move.
Myself and Julie Harwar, yeah. Or and Kathy Hasner. Or if it was worse than that, we'd get thrown in the fountain.
That seems a little harsh.
Him, Graham Burgess, and Neil Peters.
It's my goodness me. Yeah, unusual coaching methods, but I'm not sure how effective that is. But yeah, that's right. Hellraiser.
Well, the other two have given up chess. That's all I can tell you. Actually, no. Julie's made a bit of a comeback, but that's because her kids have started to play.
It's no, I guess it is true. Double checking your moves. Yeah, if you're, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, if you're a fast player, you know, you play with your, yeah, you got to trust yourself as well. But certainly, yeah, you know, it's double checking your moves is so easy to darting forwards and backwards and forwards, but you can't keep up with. Oh,
sorry, Kenworthy 39. Is that Gary Kenworthy 39? We'll go a bit slower.
It's we're getting a bit excited. That's all.
I tell you what, though, Theo's got, you know, an amazing future because, like, if you're just getting a good position against a 2400 like that, and it's not the first time, right? He's been playing lots of games where he's getting good positions against very strong players and winning some of them. It's great.
Yeah, how do we make something of this? This is not so easy, maybe. Ooh. Try and bring the knight round. I mean, there's a moment of opportunity now when we could play c4 here. Is that moment of opportunity good, or is it just something we get? A lot of pawns get exchanged off. We go rook d2 at the end.
Are you thinking of c4?
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, white, it's sort of white gives you the opportunity, so you sort of think, oh, you know, maybe I should do it, but I don't know, really. I'm not sure we should do it.
Let's have a look. c4, because we're just analyzing, right? So we can have a look.
Chops, 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 chops. Rook d2. Powder mill chess. Now, I would like to go rook d5 really here, but I'm slightly concerned about knight a3. Knight a3. Because bishop a2 fails to c4, funnily enough.
Oh, yeah, uncovering the attack on that bishop.
So somehow I never get to, because I mean, if I had my bishop and you've got your bad knight and I can win the a pawn, you know, I might feel happy, but that doesn't quite seem to work at this moment.
So maybe we don't do c4 right away.
Indeed, I think if nut flush does it, then it's.
Okay, how are we going to improve before we do it? Is it we're going to just try and target that a pawn somehow? Yeah,
no, Arion's pretty useful. I think he's definitely around 2100, 2150. Definitely think he looks pretty useful. It's be interesting to see him against. Well, actually, come to think of it, I mean, the way he beat Harry could even be a bit higher than that. I think he's. I think
he's higher because he was also playing at that. He was doing well at the outdoor tournament. You know, a week or two ago.
Yeah. No, I mean the way he beat Harry Grieve. Yeah, maybe 2200 or as well, something like that. I think he's looking like a very good player, actually. You know, and resourceful and everything.
Hackney, Wood Green, Edmonton, and Southgate. That's some good chess clubs there. Because, like, I think Wood Green have the most London League wins out of any club?
They do indeed.
They have. Yeah.
They do indeed. Yeah, I don't know, but it's just if we're not going c4. Well, okay, maybe what we do is could we go c4?
Yeah.
Squirt, 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 squirt. Rook d2, and now bishop e6 maybe.
Okay. What's our plan? Oh, rook d5 again.
Well, yeah, or rook b7 to b4, round to a4. We're just going to try and grab this knight. And if knight a3, then I've just got to be a little bit careful because rook d5 allows knight c4. Maybe I just go king e7 first of all, and prepare rook d5.
Yeah. This
could still be quite awkward. Hey, Alexi.
Hi, Alexi.
This could still be quite awkward for white. So I mean, yeah, and if you go c3 in the other line, go bishop f5. So this is, I think this is something like this is the best. I mean, I think we have to go c4 because I can't believe once the knight gets round to d2 that we're gonna have anything. You know, I do think. No idea who the commentators are. That doesn't matter at all.
Okay. I'm gonna put our labels on for a moment so you can actually see who we are. There we go. That's us. Did that work? Oh, yes, it has. Yeah, there we go. That's us.
Yeah, the only problem is that when we reduced to a small screen, what was happening is that if we're leaning a little bit down, then we would.
The other thing is I'm going to take it off because also it covers up the names of the players.
Yeah.
But there you are. You know for a moment. Yeah, I tried to put it in the titles, but I run out of space in the titles. I can either put what the event is or our names. So I sometimes do one and sometimes do the other. It's
to be honest, I think we're more for the players after the event. You know, that they can you know, sort of you know, watch themselves back and their games on the stream. I think that's always our biggest viewership. The jinx, indeed.
Oh, I remember a point with the jinx. Well, the thing is, right, we can, yeah, we can jinx people, but we can only really jinx them to make mistakes. Oh no, don't tell him it's our fault. Theo very kindly, he came on to interview last year. We'll do him, we won't do him now, but a bit later on, when he has a nice win, he can come back onto the stream and say hi to everyone if he likes.
That would be great. That would be great. But tell him anyway that it was a great game and that we enjoyed it very much, and that not to lose courage and keep on fighting, because playing like that, you can have a great tournament. So. Oh, thanks, Kenworthy. Yeah, no, it's true. I think we get a lot of playbacks. That's the thing, but not so many viewers whilst we're streaming. But it's all fine. I think that's good. And we try and concentrate on both the stars and the qualifiers as well. You know,
and the other stars. And they're all stars.
Everyone's a star. So
exactly.
Let's have a look.
You're a star to take the time and play the tournament, and you're a star to be watching the stream.
Yeah, let's have a look, because Nutflash has played, and I want to know whether
he's played, has he? Yeah, let's see what he did.
Oh.
He did. Yeah, I was thinking of that plan with B4 and then trying to come around to B5.
Yeah, you're never in time. You're never in time. Okay, so but okay, let's have a look. G4 was a bit of a strange one. No, not the Patzers. G4 was a bit of a strange one. It's a bit odd to play that, I think. But I mean, Rook H4 is an idea, but is it a threat? It's probably not a threat, really. But okay, King G3.
We can't really bring our king in because the rook will take on G6.
Well, we should be coming round King G7, H6, H5, maybe.
Oh, that way, yeah.
With a rook on F8. Is that at all convincing? Not at all, not remotely. We can play our King to E5, rook to H6. Yeah, I don't know. If you hit the collapse, can you hit the collapse button, Natasha?
Sorry, what?
Left-hand side, collapse. Bottom. What
are you trying to achieve?
Making the board bigger. That's what Blue-Grey Haze suggests. I do actually think that didn't I manage to make the board bigger?
No, my board's bigger than yours. I looked in all the past streams.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's this collapse thing you're talking about?
Go to the left of the screen, Natasha.
Yeah.
And then you can see dark blue and collapse.
Okay.
Does that really help?
I think it just shifts it across the screen, but that's fine. We can do it like that.
We can do that.
So the games are, it's an hour plus an increment. Yeah, so they take a little bit longer than actually the qualification last week was 45 plus 15 seconds. This is an hour plus, I will check whether it's 15 or 30. Right, championship. It should anyway. They'll take about. I think it's going to be about 2.5 hours. We're being 2:20, so it'll be finished.
I think it's just this one game, isn't it? They're still going. So
yeah. So I think it's in general. It's going to be about 2.5 hours for each round.
So rook g4. Are we? Ha! The old expression. Not too much of the old, please. Rook g4. I think we may be heading for. Are we maybe heading for a draw by repetition here? No, no, no. So Paul Dargan's going to keep on playing. I don't think that there's. I'm trying to think of how Black would really break through here, but I don't think he's going to manage. I mean, in some ways, you know, the black pawn structure on the queen side is more vulnerable than White's, because especially if White's covering the h2 square. 30 or so years ago, indeed, it's yeah. Those terrifying, the terrifying time when 30 years ago, and you were still reasonably old. That's yeah. No, amazing to be still talking about chess and doing stuff with chess. It's lovely, really.
So Jonathan Mackay, I've just looked up. He's born 2003, so he's about 18 years old. I used to know a Roddy Mackay, so I don't know if it's a relation.
Yeah, Roddy Mackay, Scottish I am.
Yes.
So you couldn't recognize me. I don't think I've changed at all. It's well, I think from about the age of 20, I haven't changed at all. I think I'd lost my hair already, and for the rest, it's just well, gradually getting worse and worse. It's so rook g4. Yeah, how will Black manage to do something here? Ah, now he switched. He switched over to the side.
He's going for this A pawn, which I think must be a good idea if he's playing for a win.
Yeah, no, that is true. Rook f4, rook b5. Yeah.
Checkmate a lot thinks h5 for White.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm looking at rook f4 now. Rook b5, and then and then h5 maybe. I think that would have been quite decent. I think
it's all right. We're going to pick up this A pawn, aren't we?
No, but I was looking for White. I think rook f4 was better than king f4.
Yeah.
But it could. Yeah. The problem is you're going to get yourself mated, aren't you? If you go h5, g5, king f5, then
c4.
Yeah. e5. Okay. This is a decent attempt. Going to get quite sharp this one now.
Yeah.
That's funny, Gary. Ken Weatherby, rather.
It's not Gary, is it?
No, it's not Gary. It's not Gary. It's this is quite interesting. I mean, after f5, we could go. Could we even go e6 check? King f6, e7. I think even that would be possible.
I think Black should take on e5.
Ooh, king takes e5.
And then take on a5.
Yeah, king d5 probably. I think king d5 here.
Well, he's done it, whether it's right or not.
Who is better and why? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
But if you go king d5, we could go rook a2.
Yeah, I go rook g2. I just cover you.
And
then I'm threatening king c5, takes b4. I don't know. I'm not quite sure who's better here, actually.
Okay, maybe we have to come back the other way.
Yeah, king d6 is possible as well. I mean, we're going to go rook f4 check. The king's going to... or rook g5 even. I mean, rook g5 is the big threat here. I actually think that Black's probably... Well, I mean, rook a2... The nice thing is we could go rook a2, rook g2, and then c4 we can do now.
Okay.
That king should have been on d5. But now rook a2 is going to be...
Yeah. Oh, and if either of the pawns take, we can push our pawn.
Yeah.
There's a pin.
Yeah. So
I'm going to put it on the board, actually.
So after rook a2, we should take on c5. I think that's the point. But I think white's better. I think white's better here. So
takes and takes like that is what
we take on b4 now. We take
and the other line is that here, and then if one of these take, say that one, then we go here, and it's pinned.
Indeed. But yeah, f5 was better. F5 was better, Guitar Man. Hey, Guitar Man. Sorry. Yeah. He could have gone for c4 check before going rook a5. Yeah, but if you gone
to here and just go c4 check.
I take on d4. I take on d4 then. I take on d4. So
and then we take.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not. This is not a winning. This is only a losing attempt for black. You know this.
Okay.
Not a winning attempt. So yeah. So yeah, black's overcooked this a bit, I think. So I mean, white's going to be a pawn up in a rook ending, looks like. So
let's see what they did. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, he's gone rook b5, rook g5 now. Ooh, dear me. Okay, maybe we need to go rook b8 here and then go round to rook h8. Maybe that's the best way. Possible. Was rook g5 the best? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it was.
Paul's not got much time left.
No. Okay. Ooh. Are you gonna claim?
Oh, c4 now says checkmate a lot.
I could probably just have taken on with a d pawn, maybe. I think. This is a bit sharp. Rook c5. If I take that off, and then you're going king f5, I guess, aren't you? And then I take on. Where do I take? Do I take on d4? King g4. I can go king e3.
Like that.
Yeah. I guess d4. Yeah, it's fine. I can go to I go to c4. I go to c4 probably. I guess
c4
or e5 will have worked. Yes, of course. Always TCC.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe I should go to e5. Put me on e5. That feels much better. Should still be winning, I think. King takes h4, and then we just push the pawns.
It's going to be white, isn't it? Check.
So yeah. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. Not too surprising, but in a way surprisingly close. But so I don't think Paul will. Maybe Paul will. Yeah. Okay. He's just gone. Oh, king c6 was played. Okay. Oh. Complicated rook ending. Okay, but that's improved the position for black a little bit. Maybe we can go king c5. Yeah, black loses the race. Because rook c5 will go rook h8, which is a little bit annoying. So king c5, let's just be quicker with... but then maybe we still go rook h8. No, then we can go rook g4. So we should probably go rook c8 check here.
Yeah, I need it on the board again. So takes that way. Rook c8.
Oh, wait a minute. We can also go rook b5 check.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
But it looks
rook b5.
It's wrong again. I mean, we just take, and I guess we go king e5 again. King
e5, and this time we don't go to there. We go to here.
No, you would.
Oh, no, that's check. Wait a minute. What do we do? We go to here.
Yeah, but then I check you on h8 and go queen g8. So
doesn't help.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really help. I think you're always. I mean, the very best you'll get out of it is a much worse queen ending. That's the problem. It's all, it's all.
All right, let's try it that way then. Rook c8 check.
That's probably better. I mean, I go king takes b4, I guess.
And take.
Sure. No, I'm not sure about that. I think about rook d5 now.
For white, rook d5. Yeah. Okay. And so if we try and take that h pawn, it doesn't work because you're going to defend.
No. I mean, white's better. I don't really know what the exact assessment is of the position, but white's better.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it hasn't been a successful, winning attempt. That's the thing, Should we go back to the game and see what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, ooh. That's quite similar to what we got. Okay, so white took the d pawn rather than the b pawn, as we were saying. Okay, this is slightly.
This is better for black than what we got. I
think so. White's wasted a few tempi here. King b4 and then g5 maybe. Or is white going to go with a d pawn? Maybe white's going to go with a d pawn. But this is quite sharp, really. Yeah, I think it's probably the right thing to do, to go with a d pawn. But white's so much slower than in our line, So so I think d5 probably now.
Oh, so we could look at king e5 because it's check.
I go king c5.
I don't feel like it would be right.
I go king c5. You could go king c5 and then rook h1, but the pawn's protected, so I think I just go king c6 or something. I think you're going to get hit by a check in the end.
So maybe we just push our g pawn, keep going.
I think we push our g pawn and keep going, and just see what life brings, really. I mean, g4, d6, g3, d7, and then rook h8. Doesn't feel very good, really. King d5, g2, rook. It feels well. I don't know. It's gonna be a bit tight, actually. And if you could play king b4 and maybe you could go d6, g3, d7, rook h8, and king b4. No, but then you'll lose the d pawn. Quite tricky. Quite tricky. I'm not sure how this is panning out. We can just let the players take the strain.
Yeah.
So they're both actually down to 40 to under a minute there. So
I mean, I guess you just keep pushing pawns and.
Yeah, I mean d7 is natural, and then
d7. Then we do defend, I suppose. Rook d8.
Rook h8. Rook h8, and then we can go. Well, I guess we go king c5,
g2.
Yeah, rook a1,
king f3,
king d6, king f2, king c7, beat g1 queen, takes, d8, takes. The black king must be faster there. So, okay, rook d5, rook d8. Oh, wait a minute, that's not very good, I don't think. That's not very good, because king c5, we go g2. And after rook d1, we go rook d7. So this is definitely not working. Rook d6.
All right, so g2.
So what? This is quite clever. So rook g6 now. This is quite good because now you're going to start checking the king all the time. Yeah, this is a good way of doing it. Because you're going to check, and then the king goes to g1, and then you protect the d pawn.
Does that make it a draw?
It's a draw. This is a draw now. Yeah. Go!
All right, let's take the d pawn.
Wowsies, that's amazing.
because now we can build a bridge, can't we? With what, like rook d4 and.
Well, no, I mean we'll sacrifice in time. There should still be a draw, I think. Should still be a draw because we're shouldering the black king away. So in rook d1 we go b4, g1 queen takes b5, king e4, b6. Yeah, this should be a draw. Should be a draw, I think. But ooh, good lord, that was a bit. Intriguing thing is actually whether I can go rook c7 check here. I wondered about that because then we chase the king away we chase the king away and then our king doesn't get. The key thing is that the white king should interfere with the black king. That's the absolute key thing to it. And here the king's on the right side, on the correct side. So when you check on c1, I'll go to d6. But if you checked on c7, the king would have been on b6 already. And that just gives the black king a free path back to e4, d5. I think this is working. I mean, we go b6 now.
All right. b6, king e5.
King c6.
King e6.
And then we've got two ideas, really. We can go king c7, or we can just go b, or we can just go b. We can. Oh, no, that's not good.
Let's do check then. Yeah,
now we do rook c1 check. King d7. Rook b1, king c6. No, you're still fine. You're still fine. You are still. Well, actually, we can swap it around now. We can go rook c1 check, king d7, king d5.
Yeah.
B6, rook 8, rook h1, b7, rook h7 check, king c8, king c6, and then we'll get rook versus knight. Which we shouldn't really have been.
Oh, okay. Let's try it.
Indeed, Percy. It's at the start of all the endgame manuals, but it's still. Oh, oh, that's bad. That's terrible. No, that's losing now. It really is that, you know, this is a real an excellent example of you know, shouldering, basically. You know, you need the white king. You've got minimal pieces. You've only got a king and a pawn, so every piece has to do the absolute maximum. You know, and the only way to do that is if the white king interferes with the black king. Then both, you know, in this way, the white king's just hiding and not doing anything. So yeah, this is completely lost. Wow, Paul Dargan coming through. So you've got to be a little bit. They're funny, these positions, because you can still give stalemate, but king c6 is the move, b7 and king b6, and then after king a8 we go rook a1 check and rook a7, and pick up the b pawn that way. Get him out of the corner, because you can't do it the other way otherwise. So king c6 is the move now. Black thinking.
Yeah.
It's always, yeah.
If black were to play rook b8, is that then a draw?
Rook b1. No, that's still winning. That's still winning. Because you go still b7, winning. King c6, king a8, but then you go rook a1 check, king b8, king b6. You always get back to your
same one, yeah.
You always get back to your structure. Indeed, shouldering, you just, as long as you remember that, you know, that shouldering the opponent's king, and you always try and go that side, then I think that really saves you in a lot of these endings. He's found the right move. That's all good.
Okay, so white plays b7.
And then king b6.
And then we play king b6.
Excellent. Excellent, very good. And this is an example of why these basic endings really are useful. Was it winning? What's it winning? I don't think it was winning the Rook and Knight. I'm not quite sure which one we're talking about actually. It made a lot, but
okay. Well, this is now a win for Nut Flash.
Indeed, well played. Well played. That hard luck ride. Just that rook ending went backwards and forth, back and forth. But yeah, it's well fought, Black. That was very, very good, very impressive.
What I'm going to do is just share the results. So if we refresh that, okay. So we had Mickey Adams a win against Amir Abbas. Brandon Clark a win against Edison Zhu. Keith Arkle, he got a default there. That's why we didn't see him. Hebbs won his comeback match against Adam Siskowski. Bogdan won against George Gazis. We saw that very nice game, Yichin Han against Theo, where Theo had a lot of play there earlier on in the game. Gunslinger Jonathan Blackburn beat Tashika Aurora. Harry Grieve won against Schlock Verma. Chris Duncan won against Shav Ali. Freddie Gordon for the draw.
The upset, actually, the first, there, because all the others went according to rating, but this was the first one.
Yeah.
That wins, actually.
Yeah, so Freddie drew with Phil Brooks. Checkmate a lot, won against Spencer Lawrence. Diamonaut won against Olga Latipova. Paul Dargan won, we just saw now that Rook against Pawn against Jonathan Mackay. Johnny Payne won. Ferrari fan won. And Oliver Stubbs and Arjun Kalani. So great, actually, very good first round there at the British. It resumes tomorrow at 7 p.m.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you, everybody, very much for watching.
Thanks for watching.